Hello everybody, it's Friday, January 21st, or 22nd, sorry. Second day of winter. Few insects in here as I open it up. Let's see what's happening. These are our ENC breeder bin now. So let's see how they're doing. Very wet. Very, very wet. They should be doing awesome. Yeah, lots of ENCs. Small ones. Oh yeah. Yep. I mean, these guys are just kind of getting going after we took the big guys out to make a breeder bin, right? There's quite a few worms in here. There's lots of some smaller ones. There's quite a few bigger ones still. I guess you'd put them as adolescents. There's breeder size. This one's got a clitellum. We're we're on our way to having better production. And this bin is very wet. But here's the food, and there's lots of worms in it. And there's still some food there. And that's a sign that we don't really need to give them too much more, and the moisture in here is telling me that they're in need of a little bit of bedding. So I'm going to take some dry paper and put that in. This is how we, or I, kind of control the moisture in the bins, and it seems to work pretty good. Okay, breeder bin, happy. I'd like to thank everybody that's been commenting and participating in the channel. It's great, it's fun, it's awesome to talk to people from around the world and around North America, and hear their thoughts on how things are going, hear their thoughts on what they're doing, hear different things. It's really a lot of fun. Well, here's our breeder bin, and they're out doing worm things. They've still got some food too. We're not going to push it. We're going to leave them. Alone. Moisture feels good. They are okay for a week. One thing about night crawlers, African night crawlers or European night crawlers, I believe they really don't mind eating paper and so on if food runs out. Like if your food gets low, it doesn't bother them to go to the paper and utilize it. At least they sure don't seem to mind around here. Okay, so now we're gonna grab our, this is the guys, cocoons, and babies bin. Feeling a little warmth, but not bad. And the worms aren't complaining much. Let's see what's happening. good amount of worms in that handful. I'm not going to complain about that. Getting to be a pretty active bin, this little bin. This is, I've said it before, it's hard. I'm trying to treat this as a wedge, but it's hard to do it as a wedge in a small container because you don't have that much room. Let's check the food zone. Where's the food zone? Food zone's probably back here. Yeah, it's warmer back here. Let's do one more. Oh yeah, there's a batch of worms. There's quite a bunch of worms in there. Man, I like these red wigglers. They're so active. They just give her. They don't. Nothing seems to bother them. And this is a wet bin. But if you want cocoons and babies to thrive, you have to have good moisture. So, time for drying it up for harvesting the castings, that'll come. You don't have to have it like that all the way through. It's a nice batch of worms. I'm trying not to pack stuff that, so that it gets compacted. I'm trying to loosen it actually. Yep, there's a good bunch of worms. And I was saying last week that now I've got breeders and babies and cocoons hatching from the previous breeder bin that we had. And it's really getting to be quite fun because now we're getting kind of a double whammy of what's going on here. So we're going to give these guys a little coffee. Coffee filter. We've been doing some renovations in our house. So I've had a guy over to help me, a friend of mine, and he has really increased our coffee consumption quite a bit. Oh, we're gonna throw a little pumpkin at these guys too. Sorry, getting ahead of myself. So because of that renovation, we haven't been doing quite the same style cooking and whatnot. So we don't have quite as many scraps, so we're going back to using more pumpkin right now because I had a bunch of extra pumpkin. And of course, the coffee grounds are always good to go. So this bin's a really lot of fun. It's getting to be exactly where we want it. I spilled some coffee grounds. I'll clean that up later. And there's the cocoons and babies from the others. I'll say this a little earlier this time. Maybe you'd like to subscribe, comment. The comments are really kind of fun. I really enjoy them. So big news on this. This is 3 weeks on the breeder bin. Sorry. So it's time this week for us to sort out the worms. I'm not going to do that in this video. That'll be a separate video. Sort out the worms, and I think I'm going to start a new brooder bin with the new bedding and materials from the breeder bin that I set up 3 weeks ago. So Not going to feed, and there was food in there, but I'm not going to feed these guys because I'm going to be messing with them later in another video. Now, these are my brooder bin from my breeder bin. Sorry, the last guys were the cocoons and stuff that we sifted out of the castings. This is my brooder bin from my breeder bin. So, pull back some of this paper because this is just mostly paper back here. Let's have a look. These guys are really active. This is a good bunch of worms. I have most everything labeled, so it keeps me straight in my brain, but not, or when I'm doing things, but it doesn't keep me straight when I'm talking. Lots of nice worms in here. They're doing awesome. Yep. Yeah, I got no complaints about this bin at all. And we're starting to work it. There you go. Every size imaginable. There's a baby, there's adolescence. This guy's he's still an adolescent. I mean, we've got every single size imaginable in here. And it's just getting really cool and fun because the guy's big bin is, yeah, really exciting, but this one's getting to be pretty a lot of fun to check as well. So see, the onion peels still haven't disappeared, but it doesn't seem to be bothering them. So you ever just send it, right? So I'm gonna throw some coffee. They like coffee. They really do. They seem to go after it. And I've got a surplus of it right now. Then do some pumpkin. Hoping to have the house back together by New Year's. We got nobody coming for Christmas. Everybody's going somewhere else, and we're doing everything after. Actually, January 7th is our day we're picking to do Christmas. So I guess that's when we'll do that. But I hope everybody has a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, because we will be posting a feeding the worms between Christmas and New Year's. Because like anything else with livestock, the farm works all year long, whether there's a holiday or not. So you keep going and you do your thing, and you know what, really, at this stage in my game, I've got no young kids or anybody here. All my kids are in their 20s and doing their own thing. Moisture was good on that bin too, by the way. Really good. Almost perfect consistency, what I like to see. And these are the guys, big worms. And last time, right there, we're seeing some young worms in here. And that is a worm. That's not a pot worm. They move like worms. Last time there was quite a few more on the paper, on the plastic. They must have went down and got onto the paper. I'm kind of happy to see that, because I thought this bin was going to be a complete write-off, and it doesn't seem to be. Oh, we've got a dead worm in here. That guy's as dead as a doornail. Put him there for now. See what else I've got going on here. Maybe it's a write-off. Nope, that guy's alive. I mean, look at the size of these guys. And there was two of them there. they were probably thinking about maybe starting to do something like breeding. Oh yeah, there's big worms. Hey, you know, a dead worm is not the end of the world. They do die, and oh, I gotta check my camera again. This thing's doing that 3 minutes or that timing out again. So I'll have to be doing some editing. A dead worm is not the end of the world. And the last time we had to add some water to this bin, and this time we have to add some water to this bin. It is not that active, and we're not feeding it to the same level, and we're not feeding it this time. Well, there's not very many worms here, so it doesn't take a super amount of feed. There's coffee in there, there's cardboard in there, and we fed it 2 weeks ago, and they have not cleaned up all that's leftover food. They haven't cleaned up all their stuff. We're just going to wet them. We're just going to give them some moisture. Cover them back up. Paper in the plastic. And we're going to see where it goes. And where am I going to put this dead worm? Put it on my worm trap, or my gnat trap. He hasn't been dead for that long because he's still actually kind of looks like a worm in there. It doesn't take them very long and they're just mush if they die. Okay, now the guys are always so much fun. Let's just rev this up here for now. Talk to you while I'm cleaning up my hands a little bit, and we'll move you over, get you set up for the guys. I hope everybody is ready for Christmas. I guess we're as ready as we'll ever be. Like I say, it's not a big thing around here. We enjoy the holiday, of course. We celebrate Christmas, but it's just the way it's working out this year. It's not the biggest deal. Let's check and see how our screen is. Oh yeah. Okay. I'm going to zoom in a little. Zoom. Too much. There we go. Let's give that a whirl. Okay, like this is, and anybody that's new to our channel, this is the guys. The guys are a blast. They're 9.5 months old. I got worms on the top of the plastic. They come up there for the moisture. They do. And I was saying last time that I wasn't sure if I was going to do a harvest of castings between Christmas and New Year's. We'll just see how it goes. I've got so many other, like I said, I got the house all tore apart downstairs and doing some renovating, and not sure if I'm going to do a harvest. Might wait till after New Year's to do the harvest, but it's getting to be time that this bin needs a harvest done. So we're going to do one soon, just maybe not through the Christmas holidays. Been invited to a friend's place for Christmas, so we'll probably go there. So it's a strange Christmas for a lot of people because like everybody's got plans to go elsewhere in a lot of places. This paper is, we're just going to go that way with it. It's not much left of it. So let's see how these guys look. So this end here, you see, they push up all the old paper. Move that back. Your castings clean up so fast when you just slide it back and get it back in the production zone. Like, it's way moisture back here with the covering because I leave it open so that these castings will cure and dry out. And that's how I work my wedge system. This is a lot bigger bin. This is probably twice the size, if not maybe 2.25 the size of those gray bins, those bus bins. And really is a nice size bin to work with. There's coming out of a corner, and worms love corner. Oh my gosh. There is a big cocoon. So they're doing what worms do. They're doing exactly what we want them to do. And every handful has got every size of worm in it. We got breeders, we've got adolescents, we've got roots. We've got wisps, juveniles, and I'm sure lots and lots and lots of cocoons. I mean, cocoons are hard to see in a matter of in this with this much matter in it. There's a lot of stuff in this bin, but you know, this stuff is perfect consistency for sifting. It just crumbles. It's a piece of corn cob getting broke down. Not much left of it. It's kind of cool as they wiggle, the castings and the soil falls away. Seed. I mean, don't get crazy. We're just aerating it. The sifter will take all this stuff out. So, put some back there. And go over here. Give it a twirl. Corn cob. And it's really breaking down. So we're in December here. And we put corn cobs in here in August. So by another month or two, you won't find them. And as I sift them, I throw everything back in. You'll see that when we sift, or if you go back and watch the one sifting the worm videos that we did. Not multiple. We only done one so far. Let me comment to me whether you enjoy the content or if it's just coming up and you're watching it. Like I'm just curious. I guess I'm new to this. Like I said, there's some huge cocoons in here. That's a big cocoon. Like, my theory, I guess, would be is the bigger the cocoon. I just broke that corn cob in half, and there's a worm inside of it, giving her. My theory would be the bigger the cocoon, the more worms are going to come out of it. The more wisps. Oh yeah. Getting, like, we're one handful width here, one head width here. Our feed zones back here, by the way. Our active feed zones quite a ways back. But as we get closer to the feed zone, we get more worms. And there's another corn cob breaking apart. There's a worm in it. The little guys like to go into the corn cobs. The juveniles seems to be what I see in there. So this stuff is like, we're in a heated house here, of course. There's a juvenile. And we're in Canada, so there's a lot of young worms in this last few handfuls that I've pulled up. This stuff's warm to the touch right here. So we've been giving them some really good, heavy feedings. And I mean, It doesn't surprise me that it's a little bit warm to the touch for. It's not hot. Don't get me wrong, and they're loving it. They're in it. There's a corn cob with a few worms in and around it. They're loving it. They're in it. They're doing their thing. They're not scared of it. It's not bothering them. It's actually probably bringing it into that, 80-degree area where you get your best activity. They're most active when they're in warm soil. Or look at the worms, guys. Like they are just everywhere. A lot of fun in this bin. I really look forward to checking this bin every week. And you know what? I have a hard time staying out of it, but I do stay out of it. There's the side of the feed zone, and there's mostly just not seeing any food, but obviously there was some there. And as we get into it, there's no food left, and you can go back into last week's video, guys, and you can see how much food I gave them. I gave them a lot of food, and there's none to be found in here yet. And my turnip, I remember my turnip was over here, and I said next week it's going to be gone. Okay, so now we're finding a little bit of food. Not very much. Not very much at all. And it's kind of that same warmth. It's and you don't see quite as many worms right where the food was, but that's okay because they got lots of room to get away from it. Want to see some worms? Here's the edge of my feed zone. Like that. It's pretty active. It's pretty active. And I'm not getting any smells or anything, but there's food left over in this. So we may not feed them as much this time around. And with Christmas and everything, there's food in here now. I'm running into where I fed them now. But there's lots of worms in here. They're not shying away from it, so they're in it. They're at it. They're doing it. So we're gonna put that zone back down into the zone. We're just gonna, you know what? We fed them on Saturday last week, right? Because I didn't have time to do this on Friday. And the coffee was down at the end, and they're really in the coffee. So if there's any questions about whether they like coffee and they prefer coffee, if they didn't prefer it, they wouldn't be in it. There's a lot of worms in there. We're having fun. This is a really fun bin to play in. Do it. And you see how the color, when we started this video, the color of the bin was a lot of paper back here. And there's a reason for that. When we put the paper back here, keep it out of the castings so that our castings stay clean and clean up. Like, next time when we come in, all this stuff's going to be pushed up. I'm just trying to see if I can find mushy spots where I got a berry. But actually don't think I'm going to feed them this week. They've got a good amount of stuff to go after. They got lots of paper, if all else fails, they'll eat the paper. I don't want to make a mess, so I know there's food there. We're going to hold off. And I don't see a little bit. There's a little bit. Let's just try to get all the foodstuffs down. And we're going to give them some paper. Yep. Suppose we could throw some coffee in there because I have lots of coffee. Let's just some coffee. You know, if they don't use it, they don't want it. Coffee's not going to hurt them. Especially when you mix it with a whole bunch of cardboard, like I do. So don't be scared of it. It's not a problem. That'd be an interesting thing to see how long that longer piece of paper lasts in the bin. And it can just work away and be disappeared too. Okay. I didn't hear my phone go beep beep. So I'm hoping it's still recording. It is. I'll close it up. We're going to close it up. Oh, I need some more paper. I will be right back. I'm just going to pause you. Well, I'm back, and I pushed the wrong button, so now I got to do some more editing. But thankfully, I have an editing app. So we're going to give them some new paper. You know what? That's the way it is. Junk. Wonder how fast this paper will go. This is like packing paper, but it's not coated with anything. So, like, comment, subscribe, share. If you like what we're doing, I really look forward to the comments. It's pretty cool. Let's go back and put our used paper in. I'm ahead of myself. But like I said before, my used stuff is starting to fall apart, and I put that this end. This stuff's like, that's actually kind of dried up from where it was sitting. We'll put it back here, it'll reactivate and soften. Now we can do the new paper. The comments are cool. I look forward to getting the comments because, like I say, talking to different producers and different people are from around the world, whether you're producing or you just enjoy what we're doing and you comment, that's cool. I think it's really cool. And I mean, that's what it's all about, is helping each other learn about worms and sharing ideas and different comments. And I do things differently here than other people. I don't use worm chow. And I don't have anything against anybody that does. I mean, I think everybody's got a different context. I'm not so worried about, I mean, it's not that I don't want the production, and it's not that I don't, here, Vern. It's not that I don't want them to increase faster. But what I don't want is to have to spend money on their food, like on grains or feed. Because I'm trying to keep it natural, like the natural form of things. I hope this is better angle than last time. Last time I cut my head off. I'm trying to keep it a better, not a better, I won't go better. I'm going to try to say a simple system to reuse, recycle, regenerate stuff out of basic stuff we're throwing away. And I don't use worm chow because worm chow has grains in it, and it's made from grains and other things, and you gotta bring that in. I'm trying to make it so that we're using the paper and our green waste, and it's going to be kind of a satellite project. Like this is going to go out into a windrow at my farm this year. This spring we're going to start a windrow out there. We're going to move some of the worms out there. That's the only reason I need to get more worms, because I want to go bigger, and then once they're in the bigger system, they'll get bigger by themselves, and it's all going to grow. And I just want to see how it works. We're in Saskatchewan, Canada, southern Saskatchewan, Canada. It gets cold here. We've had an awesome winter. We haven't had a cold winter this year, but who knows what's coming and who knows what next year will be. But I think we can get them to grow outside as long as we put a big enough compost pile or heap for them to get to the middle, because that won't freeze. Anyway, that's all going to be another video another time. Once the spring comes, we'll start that, and we'll keep you guys updated on what we're doing. Just that my concept of things. Lots of people use worm chow and they get more production and they get faster production, and that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. Anyway, December 22nd, worm feeding and check-in. We didn't feed much, but check-in. And have a great Christmas holiday, everyone. Wishing you all the best and best in the new year, and we will talk later. Thanks again. Bye.